Okay, what's going on, everybody? We are here. We're live. Hopefully, y'all can see and hear me clearly. If you can, please drop a 1 in the live chat. Let me know if you can see and hear me clearly, and then we can get today's show started. While I'm waiting for the ones to come in, if you haven't already, please hit that like button. That is the most important thing you can do for me on this channel. What it does is that it helps to make sure that those who are subscribed to the channel will indeed get their notifications, and it also helps to assist in pushing this video through the YouTube algorithm. Secondly, if you're new to the channel, if you're one of those ghost watchers, I catch a ghost watcher at least every live stream now, and then you guys let me know in the comment section that you've been ghost watching. If you've been ghost watching this channel for quite some time now, please hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. Okay, and lastly, make sure you share this video out on your social media platforms to your family and friends to let them know that I'm currently live. Push this video through the YouTube algorithm as well, and to share this news and information with them. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news, because I am on a strict time crunch today. So let's get into it, man. Today, I've come to find out, I've come to realize and to the understanding that apparently, Black women don't love Roland Martin anymore. They don't love him. Not Roland Martin. They don't love Joe Biden anymore. Black women don't love Joe Biden anymore. They don't love him anymore. And the polls are reflecting that. These polls are out of control as it pertains to how much trouble Biden is having with the Black vote overall. And once again, when it comes to Black support that's shifting in the direction of Trump, it's just looking ugly for Biden. It's looking ugly for him. So now the first thing that I want to do is this. I want to get into this MSNBC news clip because what they're going to speak to is they're going to speak to the Black vote as well as the young vote in Georgia, if I remember correctly. And if you all remember correctly, I believe it was earlier this week, I did a story on how in the swing states specifically, Biden is having a lot of trouble with the young vote, the Black vote, and the Hispanic vote. Polls show that he's losing the swing states badly. And then when you put on top of that the fact that he's having trouble with the young vote, the Black vote, and the Latino vote, that pretty much just spells complete domination for Biden. But the one thing that was also very interesting about that polling / survey that I discussed is how, as it pertains to the Trump trial going on in New York City, it's not having the desired result amongst the population in the swing states, where the Democrats were hoping that the hush money trial would push the people away from Trump. You can make a strong argument that it's actually having the reverse effect and are pulling people closer towards Trump, but it's definitely not negatively impacting Trump, right? So that's enough about me talking about it. I want to get into this MSNBC, once again, this MSNBC video very quickly. And let's hear what the people have to say themselves before we get into Roland Martin lastly.
Morning to you. This is one of the most closely watched counties here in the key battleground state of Georgia. So it seemed like the perfect place to come out and talk to Republican voters and see all of the coverage, all of the things that we're talking about with this New York hush money trial. How is it impacting them down here? So I spoke with about 5 different Republicans.
And for the record, the study that I cited, or I should say the poll / survey that I cited earlier this week discussing the hush money trial as it pertains to Trump and how the people feel about it, over half the population isn't even keeping track with it. That's how little they look upon this trial as being something that's credible.
And they represent a very wide cross-section, a very diverse group of Republican voters here in this county. And I asked them, how are they being impacted by this trial? Are they paying close attention? And what impact might a guilty verdict have on their decision to support the former president? Here's what they told me. Take a look.
Do each of you support Donald Trump?
I do.
Yes. Yes for all 3 of you? Yes. Has this trial changed your opinion, even caused you to waver or question that at all?
No, it's actually caused me to support him more.
Remember, Stephen A. Smith got in trouble for saying that, and it's looking like to some degree that's holding true. It's holding true. There's an argument that appears there appears to be an argument that can be made that the Trump trial is actually pulling people closer to Trump, and specifically for Black males.
I just don't believe.
Let me rewind that back just a little bit.
At all.
No, it's actually caused me to support him more. I just don't believe there's a coincidence that we have a trial happening in Atlanta. We have one happening in New York. So the question people are beginning to ask themselves, like I did, is like, why now?
It's pretty much everybody says they're picking on him. You know, people are tired of going after him, and you see it in so many areas. It's really not a big issue in the party. Actually, they're really making everybody mad, and they look at a big bully, and the government is the bully.
And what they're seeing also is that, you know, what the Biden administration and Democrats are doing are simply, as I've stated over and over again, they're engaging in lawfare. That's what this is. That's what's happening. They're engaging in lawfare. They're using the law and the legal system to delegitimize Trump, and the people are seeing right through it.
It's going to be your first time casting a ballot. What is it for you that drives your support of the former president?
I think always fighting. I mean, he's taken so much just defense from news and everything, but he still hasn't given up. He keeps fighting to do what's right.
I've talked to many people who formerly identified as a Democrat. They have changed their political persuasion to independent, and they are looking forward to voting for Trump. Wow. Because now they find something in common with a political candidate at that level.
When you say they find commonality, what is that commonality?
They have felt persecuted by the system of American injustice. And it's not a stretch for them to think that Trump may be a victim as well. People see that there's
and this is a Black woman that's saying this. That's what makes all of this so damning for Biden, that this is coming out of a Black woman's mouth that's articulating this.
There's some kind of commonality between himself and maybe all the Black men that have been incarcerated and the families that have been impacted by Black male incarceration.
Now, mind you, when you go back to the beginning of this video, you see a Black man, a Black woman, and a young white voter, we'll say, who will be voting for the first time. I think he's 18 or 17 going on 18, something like that. I believe he's already 18. All three of them are saying that they're voting for Biden, or voting for Trump, right? But the huge turnoff for them, if you're paying attention, is the Trump trials. It's the fact that it's a sham. These are sham trials, and everybody can see right through it, right? When you have a situation in New York, as I reported on earlier this week as well, I report on a lot of things. That's why you got to make sure you're subscribed. But as I reported on earlier this week, I believe it was the day before yesterday, the illegal immigrant Venezuelan migrants who put hands and feet on NYPD, 6 out of 9 of them were getting off with very soft, extremely lenient plea deals. And out of those 6 who were getting off on extremely soft, lenient plea deals, 2 of them were known gang members, part of the violent Venezuelan gang Terrain de Aragua, if I remember the name of it correctly. And it's a gang that didn't even have a presence here up until the migrant crisis began. Those 2 individuals that are part of that Venezuelan gang that is known for being extremely violent, they reached a plea deal to which they would only get 6 months in jail, which means they're most likely only going to serve 3. So when people are looking at this, and you're seeing illegal immigrant Venezuelan migrants who crossed the border illegally, came here, committed crime. One of them got busted for shoplifting while having this case on their back concerning assaulting an officer. So you got let out of jail after assaulting an officer, and then you went back out and committed a crime by stealing baby clothes and other out of a Babies R Us, and stealing I think like a sports jacket out of Macy's, and you're still getting off with a plea deal. But then they're seeing Trump on trial, and you're trying to body slam him with 20 years in prison for sleeping with a porn star and paying her a little money to go away. People aren't going for that. They see through the foolishness, and that's why this is backfiring, because they see right through it. And it's backfiring so much in between that and the economy and the fact that folks feel like, and particularly Black Americans, they feel as if nothing has changed in between now and the Biden administration, in the Trump administration, right? In between administrations, or I should take that back. They feel that things have gotten significantly worse under the Trump administration, under the Biden administration. And if you look at the polls, Black American voters, as well as young voters and Latino voters, they're not convinced. They are not convinced at all that things are going to get better with another 4 years of Biden, which makes sense because we're rounding out his 10-year, the first 4-year run, and things aren't getting better. Everything is the same, if not getting worse, right? So that's what's happening right now concerning Biden and these voters as it pertains to Black voters, Latino voters, and young voters. But now let's get back to focusing specifically on the Black voters. Then we're going to get into speaking on Black women voters, because Black women voters don't love Trump anymore. The Black woman vote does not love Trump or Biden anymore. That's how you know I'm in a rush. I keep twisting the two names up. So excuse me for that. I am rushing through today's stream. But let's get into this one right here concerning this CNN poll, right? This video here is around maybe like 45 seconds long. But I just want you to hear the CNN news anchors discuss this polling, right? In which it's now showing that 22% of Black Americans are expected to vote for Trump. It went from 20 to 22% now. It went up 2% higher. I always say I got to see it to believe it. I have to see it to believe it, because that, you know, voting blue is a religion for Black folks. So I got to see it to believe it, but we'll see. We'll see. But look at how much of in a state of disbelief, right, and anxiety that the CNN team is here as he's discussing this. So let me pull this up for you right now, and hit the like button if you haven't already. That's extremely important for the growth of this channel.
Number for Donald Trump, 22%. Where was Donald Trump at this point 4 years ago in the polls? He was
22% is crazy. I'm not going to lie. That's a huge number. 22% is a huge number. 22% of the Black vote is wild. We'll see if it holds true in November.
But look at this number for Donald Trump, 22%. Where was Donald?
And I keep cutting it off, and this is the last time I'll cut it off, because like I said, I do have to go. But Nubian King stated, I want to highlight this in your story. He said, I'm glad the younger Black votes, the younger Black folks are waking up. The elder Blacks are done. They're too far gone. That's what the polling shows. That's exactly what the polling shows when you keep up with all this stuff. It shows that as it pertains to the older Black vote, the senior citizens, they're locked in. They're locked in. They are completely and utterly terrified that if Donald Trump gets back in,
they're going to put you all back in chains.
They're going to put us back in chains. They're going to put us back on the slave block.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
Put us back on that block and sell us to other white folks for, chattel slavery. You get what I'm saying? Like, they're completely terrified of that. But as it pertains to the young Black vote, they're not scared of that at all. The fear mongering, my point, that's the point I'm trying to make right now. The fear mongering is not working on the young Black voter. And that is what's severely hurting the Biden administration. It also doesn't help that when you slide your debit card, it destroys your bank account every single time when you just want to buy like a couple produce items. You want to buy apples, you want to buy a couple bananas and some grapes, $25. That's crazy, but that's real. And it's breaking people's pocketbooks, right? So in between your bank account getting broke off when you're trying to buy some apples and the fear mongering, which is insulting to my intelligence, you can't expect to get my vote that way. And it's looking like the same thing for the young Black vote as well. So now let's carry on.
Trump at this point 4 years ago in the polls, he was just at 9.
I just want to rewind that back one more time, and I'm not going to interrupt anymore.
But look at this number for Donald Trump, 22%. Where was Donald Trump at this point 4 years ago in the polls? He was just at 9% of the vote. So he's seen more than a doubling in his support among African Americans. This margin, which was in the 70s just 4 years ago, look at where it is now, 69 minus 22. That puts it in the 40s. My goodness gracious. If this held through the general election, obviously we're still months away, this would be by far the best performance for a Republican candidate among Black voters in a generation, 2 generations, probably since 1960 and
since 1964 to be exact.
Richard Nixon against John F. Kennedy. That's how long we're really talking about when we're looking at this margin here. This could be a truly historic margin. It's quite a troubling sign for the Biden campaign.
That's complete annihilation if that holds through. No contest. That's first round knockout. Once again, 1964 was the beginning of the end of the black vote. And I say it was the beginning of the end because that's when black folks just started giving their vote to it for no reason, right? Giving it up absolutely for nothing. Democrats didn't have to work for it. Since 1964 up until this point in time, black folks have been voting blue no matter who, to the tune of 85 to like 90% religiously. And it's completely ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous because once again, if I don't have to fight for your vote, then how are you going to expect anything in return for the vote, right? What's the saying? Why buy the cow when the milk is free? If I'm not mistaken, that's the saying. And that's the saying that holds true for, the black vote. Why buy the cow when the milk is free? They're just going to give it up anyways, right? So, I'm not going to give you anything for it. Now, before we carry on, thank you very much, my man, Saul. I would be broke, busted, and dusty without Saul's support. He always comes through. I appreciate you. He says, have you seen Biden at the fast food restaurant? I felt bad for him. No, I haven't seen him. I don't know about that video, but I will look into it. And if it's as bad as you're saying it is in your comment with the laughing emoji on it, I'm definitely going to talk about it next week, right? But let's hop into the last video because Roland Martin is in complete disbelief. Roland Martin in this clip that I'm going to pull up right now. As we all know, he is a diehard vote blue no matter who, unapologetic, doesn't care what anybody has to say. He's going to die on that vote blue no matter who hill. And in this video, which is 30 minutes long, but I've condensed it down to about 4 minutes. Normally, Roland Martin is very, enthusiastic, extremely sassy. He's a very sassy man for some reason, and full of energy, calling everybody stupid and idiot and all other type of names, right? You can tell how defeated he was when he was going through the motions of putting this video out, right? And putting out this information. He was so unenthused. He seemed so down in the dumps, as if to say, man, let's just get this out there. Okay, let's just put this out here because we have to put it out there because we're the news. But dang, you can see the disbelief on Roland Martin's face. He just can't believe that this is happening. So let's get into this clip right now.
It hit strategies.
Let's start it from the very top and action.
The Black Women's Roundtable Essence and Hit Strategies released the 9th annual Power of the Sister Vote. The poll is a survey of Black women voters on the issues that matter most to them. Melanie Campbell with the Black Women's Roundtable joins us right now with the poll results. Melanie, glad to have you here. So what does it show?
It shows that for the...
Look at how serious he is. He was like, so what does it show? He's so just... the poll that just came out and about Black women voting, and where's all that sassiness? Roland is a sassy man. I don't know where's the sass. The sass is gone. He just seems so irritated and bitter.
So what does it show?
It shows that for the first time that I've ever known, that Black women are in what you call the persuadable category, that we are going to have to be persuaded to vote. There's also generational divide, that the younger you are, the less likely that you say that you're going to vote, right? We know there's anxiety. Anxiety is high, all the things that, that we know around issues. But when it comes to where we stand politically, there is a lot of work that has to be done.
Now, I want to pause just for a quick moment, because the significance in this is that this polling was done by Black pollsters, right? So this isn't a mashup of like the New York Times poll or the Associated Press poll, that these polls that Roland Martin tend to dismiss, right? Because they're not exclusively polling Black people, they're polling all people. And then they come across, I guess, some random Black people, if you ask Roland Martin. And I guess those random Black people, they're polling opinions don't count, right? You need to be exclusively polling Black people only to get an accurate count of how Black voters are feeling, right? And that's what makes this particular video so significant, right? Because as we're going to go through this information right now, you're going to see that Black women are not feeling Biden at all. And if Black women don't love Joe no more, if they don't love Joe anymore, it's over. It's over.
Our numbers tend to be much higher.
And rewind this back just a little bit. And this is the woman that's speaking right here. She said, our numbers are usually much higher. They are in complete disarray.
To where we stand politically, that there is a lot of work that has to be done. Our numbers tend to be much higher. I can't remember now, and Dr. Avis Jones-Weaver, and of course, Terrence Woodbury and Hit Strategies was our pollster, but we also had, Dr. Avis Jones-Weaver who helped with the analysis, and none of us have seen that before. So there is a difference. It's a lot to unravel, but the bottom line is the Democratic Party, if they want the black vote to turn out for them, they're going to work for it. And if the Republicans want to take a stab at moving it, they have work to do. And black women are not a sure thing. They're going to have to work for it. Just like they have to work for black men and all of us, they got to work for the black vote, bottom line.
Now, I want to just shout out to Sierra Holmes. She said, y'all remember when he cried during the last election, seeing black people standing in line to vote? I'm so mad that I don't have that clip up. I wanted to have that clip up and ready, but because I was so much of a rush, as I'm sure many of you all can tell, I keep tripping over my words and confusing Biden with Trump with Biden because I'm in a rush. I didn't get to put that clip together, but I'm definitely going to spin the block back on Roland Martin and play that video when he was crying because black folks were standing in line to vote Biden in 2020. That is so shameful, sassy Roland. I mean, he was crying like a baby. But let's get into this because we're going to round this video out shortly.
And so what really I think is speaking loud and clear here is that if you are Biden Harris, if you are examining this issue here, really what jumps out is you got a problem.
Yeah, and look, the polls are a snapshot in time, and in the month of Black History Month, Houston, we have a problem, right? So
I'm not sure why she said in the month of Black History Month when we're not, it's May. Yeah, it's May. I'm not sure why she said that. That's weird.
Folks need to pay.
That's how just in disarray she is. She said in the month of Black History Month, we're in May. Isn't Black History Month in February? We're in May. They're in such disbelief that black women don't love Joe no more, that they think it's Black History Month. We're not in Black History Month. Black History Month was like 3 months ago. We're in May now. But that's how much in disarray they are. They just can't believe it. She said in Black History Month, blah, blah, blah. We're not in Black History Month, lady. We're not even close to that.
Attention. I know, there's a lot of data out there, and this is one of
and so you see right here where Hit Strategies, Terrence Woodbury explains methodology. They talked to 800 black women, registered voters nationwide. They were in the field February 16th through February 16th through the 21st. And then you see right here, it also says the presentation also includes comparative data from a 2022 phone interview.
Okay, I'll throw them a little slack. I think she confused and said that this was Black History Month that we're in now, because the polls that they're citing from the black pollsters that exclusively polled black women was done in February, but I guess they're finally reporting on it now. So I'll cut her some slack.
Poll conducted by Brilliant Corners among 601 black women. So a poll was done in 2022 by Cornell Belcher's firm, Brilliant Strategies. This poll was done by Terrence Woodbury with Hit Strategies. And you see right here, number one, economic anxiety, clear generational gap. Number three, a slim majority of black women voters support President Biden's reelection. 20% remain undecided about who to support. It says here, number
I don't want to go past that so fast. I want to blow this up and read it very quickly. While a slim majority of black women voters, 51%, only 51%, I don't think you all understand how significant that is. If you rewind this back and you listen to what the woman was talking about, she was saying, I've never seen such a lack of enthusiasm coming from black women voters who are not sure if they're going to vote for Biden, if even vote at all. She said in all of her life, she's never seen anything like this. And I'll make sure to leave the links to all these videos in the description box below once the stream is over, so you can watch it for yourself, especially the Roland Martin video. But she said she's never seen anything like this before. 51% is extremely low for Black women. That is extremely low. But it reads, while a slim majority of Black women voters, 51%, support President Biden's reelection, 20% remain undecided about who to support in the upcoming presidential election. Once again, when we're talking about Black women voters, 20% being undecided, only 51% are definitely going to vote for him, and 20% are undecided. They're like, I don't, Biden or Trump, I don't know. I don't know which one I'm going for. Once again, this spells annihilation for Biden if he's unable to pick it up. And I don't see how he's going to be able to pick this up. Let me finish this out. I think it only has about 30 seconds left. I'll rewind it back just a little bit.
And you see right here, number one, economic anxiety, clear generational gap. Number three, a slim majority of Black women voters support President Biden's reelection. 20% remain undecided about who to support. It says here, number four, part of this generational gap comes from younger Black women voters feeling increasingly anxious about the upcoming elections, and they don't see that their lives have gotten better in the last 4 years. Biden has a clear lead in the 2024 presidential election, but his greatest threats are potentially independent third-party voters and drop-off voters, especially among young Black women.
Especially among young Black women. The young Black vote seemingly isn't going for the fear mongering. They're not going for the fear mongering. They're seemingly basing the idea of who they want to vote for based off their actual life circumstances and what makes logical sense to them, right? They're even excluding race out the picture. Not thinking about racism and all that stuff. They're not thinking about, police shootings. They're not thinking about none of that right now. They're thinking about the fact that when I go to the grocery store and I try to buy 3 produce items, it comes out to $50. And I got kids to take care of. Got to get Trump back in there. That's what they're thinking. Got to get Trump back in there because Biden ain't cutting it. He's not cutting it. He's not cutting it. Once again, 51% of Black women, 51% only that say that, yeah, we will vote for Biden. That is a small number. That is small for Black women and spells an enormous amount of trouble for Joe Biden. And with all that being said, that does it for today's stream. I was able to do this in 27 minutes. Forgive me if I was a bit fumbly today. I'm typically normally fumbly, especially when I'm reading, but might have been a little bit more fumbly today more than normal because, like I said, I am in a rush. I got to get out of here now. I was sticking to a strict 30-minute time limit, and I met that limit. So anyways, hopefully you all found this stream fruitful. Hopefully me kind of getting the names confused between Biden and Trump didn't kind of throw off the stream too much. But please, hit the like button on the way out if you haven't already. There are 500 plus of you in here right now, 556 to be exact. Hit the like button if you haven't already. That is extremely important, okay? And for all you ghost watchers, I know out of the 500 of you that are in here, there's at least 100 of you that are ghost watchers. Stop ghost watching the channel, okay? You watch almost all my videos. Even when you're not checking for me, YouTube brings me up in your recommends. That's why you're here now. Just hit the subscribe button. Stop playing with me and hit the subscribe button, okay? Hit that subscribe button. And also share this video out on your social media platform. And follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group. The link to my Telegram is in the description box below. And thank you very much, Ivan J, for the last minute buzzer beater. Swish. Love your work. I appreciate you, Ivan J. Thank you for the support that you're showing the channel. I do not exist without your support. Thank you very much. And I will catch you guys next week. Have a great evening. Peace.